Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Solitaire Caesar, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, 350 BC to 1453 AD. This is a game designed by Dave Kershaw and published by White Dog Games. I have a couple of other titles from Dave Kershaw, Vietnam Solitaire and also World War Z, which I've covered on the channel. His games seem to be really fun, challenging, not overly complex. They're fairly simple to moderate complexity, but a lot of fun. And I think he hits on the right balance of just enough die rolling to drive the game forward without bogging the game down in unnecessary dice rolls. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. Command Roman legions to build an empire that will last forever. Carry the Roman eagle into uncivilized provinces. Struggle to preserve the empire against invading barbarian tribes. A typical game should take about 60 minutes to play. Game components comes with 11 by 17 inch map, 176 counters, 8-page rulebook, and a player reference card. And the game feature says build cities, raise and move legions, conduct combat, 18 game terms, 2 scenarios, and rule variants to expand on those scenarios. You have some examples of the counters and then the map here on the back of the box. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. We get our rulebook, player aid card, counters, and our map. So let's set up the map, take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the map that comes with the game. It is an 11 by 17 inch paper map, which we saw on the back of the box. You have your game turn phases listed out here on the top left, your victory point track over on the top right. It gives you a depiction of the entire Roman Empire and all of the provinces located therein, and they are color-coded. Hispania, Gaul, Cisalpine, for example, those are red. Those are civilized provinces. Remote provinces are white. Mauritania, Britain are examples of remote provinces. Then you have wilderness provinces that are black. Germania, Theiss are 2 examples of those. Then you have wild, which is gold. You've got Arabia here, Berber, Nord, and Steppe, for example. Those are all gold wild provinces. And all the provinces are joined together by lines of communication. You see these dotted lines that are across the map. Blue is for sea travel, and then the orange is for land travel. And we'll take a look at the player aid that comes with the game. At the top, you have the turn track table. Below that, you have the random city table, the victory level table, and then below that, the simplified combat table and the smoother barbarian numbers table. And we'll take a look at the counter sheet that comes with the game. We have our Roman legions up here, and then we have barbarians in blue and barbarians in green. Barbarians in blue are actually civilized barbarians. Barbarians in green are uncivilized barbarians. Below that, you have your control markers, as well as the city markers that you'll be using across the map. And we'll take a look at the rulebook that comes with the game. It is an 8-page rulebook, but the base rules really only go to page 5, so only 5 pages of rules. After that, you have a couple pages of optional rules, some scenarios, and the designer's notes. Starts off here with the introduction, an explanation of the map, all of the provinces, the different color coding, we already discussed that, Roman control marker down at the bottom right. Then we have the concepts, game setup, game turn, and the different phases in the game turn. There's a Roman phase, barbarian phase, and a tally score phase. The Roman phase, you as the player will do that. That is listed out here, all the steps that you'll take on your turn. Then you have your conduct Roman combat before you get into the barbarian phase. Barbarians, as we already saw, have the blue and the green counters. The blue counters are the civilized barbarians, and those barbarians are able to retain cities that they capture, whereas the green uncivilized barbarians will just raze them to the ground. On the next page, it continues on the barbarian phase. You have the move barbarian army group subphase and the conduct barbarian combat subphase before you get to the tally score phase and ending the game on page 5. And then we start off with the optional rules, simplifying dice rolling, and this will give you a quicker way of resolving combat rather than rolling multiple dice. You can just roll 1d6 and consult the simplified combat table on the player reference card, which we have already looked at, and that just kind of expedites play for you. Simplified rule for distant barbarians, smoother barbarian numbers, the Emperor hails Caesar, skilled general, donatives, bribery, pestilence, famine and revolt, imperial capital priority, Roman income variant, and then we get into the scenarios. The rise and fall of the West scenario and Justinian's reconquest scenario are the 2 scenarios that come with the game. And then on the back of the book, we have the designer's notes from David Kershaw. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Solitaire Caesar, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, 350 BC to 1453 AD. It is a game designed by Dave Kershaw and published by White Dog Games. Like I said before, I've got a couple of Dave's games, Vietnam Solitaire, World War Z, which I've covered on the channel, and now Solitaire Caesar. I like his designs. He makes games that seem to be pretty tight, pretty fun, and not excessively long. I know that you've got Vietnam Solitaire that can take a little bit longer sometimes, depending if you play the full campaign or if you just play one of the scenarios. World War Z runs probably about an hour to an hour and a half. This looks like it's going to be in the same time frame, about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how things go. But he also, the other thing I like about Dave's designs is he understands the need for die rolling with a solitaire game to drive the narrative forward, but also to simplify it, like he has the simplified combat table. If you don't like excessive die rolling, well, you can just roll 1d6, consult that table, and get the gameplay moving forward quicker. So I really do like that. Only 5 pages of rules, a couple extra pages for optional rules that you can add in, so there's definitely a lot to explore with this little game, and I'm looking forward to getting it on the table. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.